Right, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Tarrence Lackran, aka the Optical Poet. I'm the Director of Programming and Partnerships for the Vision Council and Vision Expo shows. And on behalf of the Vision Expo team, I want to welcome everyone to our Eye to Eye Coffee Talk series. Now, just a few housekeeping rules before we get started. For one, as you can see, we chose to use Zoom, and we chose this software for what you see now. You can see each other. Especially, this is very important for this one because our attendees are from all across the world today. And it's been such a long time since we've all been able to be together and to see each other. The only way this is going to work, though, is if you stay on mute when others are talking. So unless you're a panelist, please go ahead and stay on mute. Now, we don't want this to be just an interview. If you've been to Eye to Eye Coffee Talk in the past, you would know that it's very interactive. So if you have a comment or questions, go ahead and use the chat box. Go ahead and type your questions in, type your comments in, shout out your favorite panelists, shout out your favorite moderator if you want to as well. But go ahead, and we want to make this very, very interactive and community building as well. Now, for any reason that we get disconnected, we ask that you just go ahead and log off, and in 5 more minutes, try logging back on. Now, for some reason, if we do not get opportunity to get things going in 5 minutes, we will email you all personally to let you know another date and time when we can hold this session. So with that, now that's out of the order, I want to welcome you all to Eye to Eye Coffee Talk. This one is extremely special. You know, every time on Coffee Talk, we're talking with a lot of our optical brethren and sisters from all over the US and Canada, but we've never really dipped in internationally, and especially some of these countries that have been dealing with COVID and dealing with the effects of this pandemic a lot longer than we have, and some of them that are seeing some relief right now. So I thought it'd be great if we can bring our entire international optical community together, especially that all the international shows were canceled this year. We have an opportunity to see each other and just be able to talk, see how the industry is going, and see what we can learn from each other. So we're calling this one Checking In Globally During the Pandemic. We have some amazing panelists here. I think I'm going to start closest to me. I'm going to head to Manchester in the UK. I met this woman last year. We talked probably every day leading up to Vision Expo East, as she was bringing a bunch of opticians from the UK to New York. Sarah and her husband Tarek, how are you guys?
Hey, good, thanks.
Great, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Well, first of all, what time is it in Manchester right now?
It is 5:20 p.m.
Wow. We should have turned this to happy hour. I think I'm the only person that can really say it's really coffee talk, other than Carlotta and Michele, because they drink coffee all day in Italy. So, Sarah and Tarek, tell us a little bit about you guys. Tell us a little bit about your businesses and the clients you service.
Okay, so I run an agency for luxury brands, Jacques Morimage, Coubois, Anna Valentin. So I service the best opticians in the UK, Ireland, and South Africa. And so obviously with the current situation, traveling is out of the question for some of those locations. And so we're just having to be a little bit more creative and use Zoom a lot more.
Excellent, excellent. And Tarek, you're on the retail end of this partnership.
Yeah, I run a store called Scene, and we're in the center of town in Manchester. And in a few weeks' time, we'll be 15 years old, and we won't have a party to celebrate. Nobody will be allowed. So yeah, it's 15 years old. It's grown every year since we started, and we haven't moved location. We've stayed in the same place since we got going. We've always championed independent eyewear, although when we opened, we sold Ray-Ban and Tom Ford, for example, for the first few years. But since about 2008 or 9, we've pretty much been independent eyewear only at the higher end of the market, or sort of middle to higher end. And yeah, that's the way we roll. Yeah, every day is getting stronger again. Now we've been back open for a while, so it's all good.
Excellent. If you want any ideas on how to throw a virtual party, you're in great company. I'm sure Toksy and Ama and Michele and Carlotta are the kings and queens of party throwing. We'll get to that a little bit later. So
Yeah,
they'll tell
that
you how to
sounds like
throw
a good idea. But yeah, it's a shame we can't really do something to mark the anniversary. But I guess there's bigger problems to deal with for the moment.
Yeah, well, congratulations from all of us. 15 years is a huge milestone, so congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Let's continue the discussion. I'm going to head to Milano, Italy. I met these two a number of years ago, and we've become very close and very good friends. We've seen each other in New York. We've seen each other in Milan. We've seen each other in Paris. And Michele and Carlotta, the owners of the Lunetier Milano. So Michele and Carlotta, just tell us a little bit about who you are, Michele, a little bit about the business, the Lunetier Milano, and who you're servicing.
Allora, la domanda è quella iniziale, dei 5 anni che facciamo.
Ok, sì, gli dici che siamo ormai aperti qua nel centro di Milano da 5 anni.
Okay, so hi everybody. It's already 5 years that we are open here in Milano. It's a shop in the central area where we have many cool events around the one you were mentioned before. And we are dealing with independent brands. Jacques Marimage, Okada, yeah, you can say the brand. Yeah. So yeah, it's like going on like.
Poi la nostra clientela diciamo che è molto varia, che si basa.
Okay, so we have many different kind of clients. We are working for middle-aged men, you know, till
molto classici.
like classic person, but even like boys, alternative. So yeah, so
cose un pochino più forti.
Okay, so like classic brands and alternative brands. We are mixed things. So there are a lot of choices. Yeah. You already know, you saw how it's our shop, so you have an idea.
Absolutely. Just to add on, in 20,
you know already.
In 2019, La Lunetier Milano was a finalist in the Vision Expo Optimum Retail Award contest. So
yeah,
they've been there. Yes, it's there. Yes, the award.
Yeah, our trophy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so,
absolutely. Well, it's good to have you both.
Yeah, it was very super expensive. Yes.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very well. Let's move on. Let's move on to another continent. Let's head to the continent of Africa. And I met these two women. Shout out to Africa. We met these two women at Vision Expo West a few years ago, and I tell you, their eyewear entered Vision Expo West before they did. They have so much style. I had to meet them. So let's head on to Nigeria to Vision's Opticals. So ladies, how we doing?
Hey, hi everyone. We're Vision's Opticals and we are located in Lagos in Nigeria, and that's in West Africa for people who don't know. And for us, this is year 31. So we are second generation family business. So we are the second generation, and I would say we are like the purveyors of luxury eyewear in Nigeria. So our like USP is that we go all around the world and we try and bring the best eyewear, which is kind of eclectic and reflects our culture. So we are very kind of bubbly culture, and we love to, I guess, party. And people love like the most sort of interesting eyewear you probably see in Lagos compared to anywhere else in the world. So that's what we try and do. We try and bring the world back home.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. If you get an opportunity to know these ladies, I've seen them shop in many different countries, and they put a lot, not just shopping for eyewear, I've seen them shop for other things. They put a lot of emphasis on what they're bringing to Nigeria. So it's really nice to see that. We're not going to go on to a video, everyone. If you can see, we're supposed to have Tetsuya from Globe Specs here with us. Unfortunately, it's 1:30 in the morning there, but Tetsuya wanted to participate anyway, so he pre-recorded some of his answers. So Nabil, if we can go to Tetsuya's introduction, please. I think it's frozen, Nabil.
Much later in Japan, so I appreciate you being able to be available for this.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Excellent. Now, Tetsuya, your business has been, legendary, really, and internationally it's been acclaimed, and we know about so much of your business here in the U.S., but a lot of people have never met you. So can you just tell us a little bit about who you are, tell us a little bit about your business and the clients you service?
Okay. I entered the optical business in 1982. It was 38 years ago. And I worked in 2 major optical retail companies in Japan and started my own business in 1998. So it has been 22 years now with Globe Specs. And I now have 3 stores. We just opened up a store in Kyoto, and we have had 2 stores in Tokyo. And we won the best store award in Milan Middle for 2 years in a row in 2017 and also 2018. And also, luckily, we were selected as the 5 finalists for the Optimum Retail Award this year. So we're very happy about that.
So Tetsuya, we've been hearing a lot of different reports about what's happening with COVID.
All right, we'll get to that question next. Excellent. So Sarah, I know you and Tetsuya, you share quite a few brands in distribution as well. So you guys go way back. But Tetsuya, if you've never met Tetsuya, he's a phenomenal businessman, a really great guy, just a full gentleman. So it's really nice that we can still have him here as well. So before we go into the business aspect of this discussion, let's just talk about the climate that's happening in these other countries. I'm going to start with Visions Opticals in Nigeria. How are things going with COVID in Nigeria? What's the government doing right now? What's the scene looking like in Nigeria?
Okay, so basically the government is opening up the economy now. So this week we had the curfew lifted. We had a 10 p.m. curfew. It's now being changed to 12 midnight to 4 a.m. So things are opening up gradually. We were shut down for about 6 weeks. That was a complete lockdown. Our airports were closed from March 23rd. The airports were just reopened on the 5th of September. So things are really opening up. And for us, as a business, we run an appointment-only service for now, even though things are opening up. We just want to see how things go for now. But because of our culture, it's really hard for people to adapt to the appointment-only system. So it's we have to change the mindset of our clients, and we try and give them as much information as possible and try and book them in for appointments for their health and their safety. We keep reminding them of why we run the appointment-only systems. The numbers in Nigeria at the moment, there are approximately 55,000 cases. 11,000 are active at the moment. We've had about 1,067 deaths. So I would say it's kind of under control, but with the opening of the airport, there's going to be more inflows and outflows of people. So we're just going to watch things.
Absolutely, very good. What about Sarah and Tarek? We hear a lot of the UK. What's the story happening in the UK with COVID? I think.
Yeah, so it's just in the last 3 days, last 4 or 5 days started to spike upwards again. So they've just today announced that we have to control how we meet in groups. So no more than 6 people. It was up to 30 people. It's now back down to 6. But there's no restriction on retail or restaurants and bars and things. Again, 6 people being the most, so you can only go out with 5 other people, or if you're a family of 4, you can only have 2 other people as guests. So yeah, I think it's it felt like things were getting better, but I think like all human nature, the minute we're given a little bit of room to play with, everybody gets a bit lax and things start to get a bit more like people start breaking the rules a little bit more. And now all of a sudden we're seeing the payback of that. So we were closed as a business, as a retail business for 9 weeks. I didn't mention at the beginning, we have an online business as well, which actually really took off during the closure. So that was good that we had that to keep us going, but we were closed for 9 weeks and we're now operating by appointment only. But again, like our Nigerian friends said, we have, our clients are used to just rolling in whenever they want, and either, you know, for choosing glasses, collecting spectacles and all adjustments and things. And now we're having to control how they come to us because we have quite a small retail space. And so we don't want too many people in the store at once. And obviously we try and prioritize around the clinic. So people having their eyes examined who then need time afterwards to choose their eyewear. And so, yeah, it's been interesting, but it's sadly, yeah, the increase in numbers and the you know, COVID's not going away until there's a real solution. So we just have to learn to manage it. And we keep all this, I mean, it's a safe store to come into in terms of it's cleaned down and we have to wear masks and gloves and things, but ultimately, yeah, we're at the mercy of human beings being human beings and doing silly things sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. We see it here in the US all the time. I'm going to go to Japan now and talk with Tetsuya on this. I had an interesting discussion with Tetsuya because things in Japan are doing relatively well compared to other parts of the world. So let's go to that video, Nabil, and see what Tetsuya had to say on this.
So Tetsuya, we've been hearing a lot of different reports about what's happening with COVID in Japan and other parts of Asia. But you living in Japan, in one of the key cities, can you let us know how are things going with COVID? What's the government doing for precautions in Japan?
Compared to US or situation in Europe, the number of infected people in Japan is pretty low. And the government don't have the right to lock down the whole city or country. The Japanese law system is not allowing the government to go into the lockdown. But since the Japanese citizen is being pretty obedient to this kind of situation, so when government discloses the various kind of index figures like number of the infected people per day, or the badly infected people in the hospital, or number of the hospital bed availability, or the death rate, and so on, then people are almost, they go into restraint condition by themselves. So people are voluntarily wearing the mask without being like ordered or being like being fined to violate the law. Or at the moment, it's pretty much controlled in Japan. And situation once went very bad in April, but then went quite low in May and June. And then went up again in July, but now it's going down again.
That's good to hear.
All right, excellent. Just out of curiosity from our panelists, for a show of hands, how many of your governments are mandating mask wearing in public places? Interesting, interesting. So just in Nigeria. Oh, in Milan as well. They're mandating. Well, let's go over to Milan. Let's talk with Michele and Carlotta. Milan was one of the first hotspots in the world when it came to COVID. Many of us were on our way to Mito when we found out that Milan was closed down. So Michele, Carlotta, how are things going right now, and how are things overall in Milan when it comes to coronavirus?
Actually, it was a disaster because we started at the end of February. And the lockdowns last for 3 months. So we start being open, like shops, things, at the beginning of June. And like it was not a good situation. I mean, we have more than 35,000 deaths, so that's a huge number. And of course, like we didn't have any help for government, which is kind of, I don't know, sad. And like what else? Durante come è stato?
Niente, siamo dovuti, comunque abbiamo dovuto chiudere, dal governo comunque, come hai detto, non abbiamo ricevuto cose. E il governo tuttora sta imponendo un po' di, diciamo, allarmismo tramite TV e media, di conseguenza la gente ha molto paura e esce il meno possibile di casa.
Like there are a lot of fear around us, so people are not willing to go out, of course. And maybe even media and TV are spreading around this fear. I don't know, I'm not on the point of judging, but there is not the willing of gathering together. I don't know how to say. So this is not a good situation. Of course, there will be better time in the future. I'm sure about this. Things are better now comparing to the beginning of June. Now people are around a bit more. We have still to wear a mask in the public. Even when we are working with clients, we have to have mask. We don't work with appointment. Non abbiamo mai lavorato con appuntamenti.
No, con appuntamenti no, può entrare però solo un numero ristretto di persone.
Like we never work for appointment. That is quite a weird thing, I guess. But at the really beginnings, only one person, maximum 2 persons, couldn't enter in the shop. So people, when one person is entering, one is going out. So always this back and forth. And wearing mask, not gloves. Like things are not good as before, but they will be better. Sure. You know, like we are in the worst area because maybe the mistake was comparing all Italy as if Lombardy, because here we have Milan, Bergamo, and Brescia that were the worst town where the COVID spread mostly. But I think the mistake of our government was to compare all regions as the same. So all the economy here, it's a bit a mess, but things will be better. Like I'm always so positive, always with a smile, and let's see how things will be.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love you and Michele's optimism all the time. So let's just go right into our next question with you guys. How has the pandemic, how has this affected, you answered a little bit, but how has this affected your business so far?
Actually, maybe only the biggest loss we had was with the closing shop, because we worked very good with the online. We improved our online store. It was really good at the beginning before, but now it's even better because people are not so into going to the shop, and I can understand the reason. So we work a lot with online stores. Actually, that didn't change so much. The order we placed with our brand we are working with, nothing changed. It is the same. So even during lockdown, obviously the shop was closed because of laws, but we work a lot with online stores. So we come here back like to prepare package and to.
Perché da decreto le ottiche erano viste come farmacie e supermercati e potevano fare.
Because optician, like a chemistry shop here in Italy, were seen as the same, that we could like be open, but people couldn't come in. So we were able to create all the package to dispatch. but we decided to stay closed. Like, it was nonsense to stay open because people couldn't come, because people were allowed only to go to the supermarkets or to the chemist shop, so people couldn't come here. So it was nonsense to let the shop open only for the online stores. So it was more an internal, like, managing, you know. And everything was and is still the same. We have the same order. We are in touch with the brands. We are placing orders, and so everything is fine, actually. But it's sad because there is not anymore the living contact with the person. Like, you know, when you're like finding the right glasses for the person and he's happy, you know, this kind of human thing that there is not anymore. But it's only a period. Things will be better for sure, as I said before.
Well, that's great. That's really good to hear that your online, your e-commerce business is doing so well. How long have you had your online shop?
I think it's more than 1 year. It's more 1 year and a half. Quite 2 years. So it's like more or less 2 years, and that's good. Like, but as I said, during this lockdown, things got improved. So maybe before we worked more with people here and not with the online. So people come, we find the right glasses, you know, like this living thing, human being contact, you know. But now that is online, so maybe people are even more secure, you know, like with the ordering. I don't know, that's some procedure. Maybe they're even better, so they feel more secure, and things got better in that case. So we just compensate, you know, like that is. So we're still fine.
No, this is really good talk. You guys are about a month and a half ahead of us on the virus, so this is really good, encouraging to hear from your standpoint. Let's go to our Nigeria division's Opticals, to Toksy and Ama. Same thing. How have this pandemic, how has this affected your business?
Okay, so unlike Carlotta and Sarah and Tarek, we actually don't have an online business. So for us, it was obviously an eye-opener because a lot of people just wanted to see our collections online, and you know, they wanted a more dynamic website, but the truth is we weren't ready. But on the eye services side, we were actually ready. So what happened is we got a lot of inquiries during the lockdown when there was no movement, and we could log into the system and we could provide a lot of information, so that when we did eventually open 6 weeks later, we got a lot of intentional business. So I would say every appointment that was booked was converted into a sale. So I don't know if it was the anticipation or it was the need, but from that point of view, we realized the importance of sort of helping our clients in a different way. So while we didn't have that much revenue during lockdown, what we did as an organization is we focused on learning. So, I mean, we were on these eye-to-eye virtual calls. It was so helpful. And we honestly learned a lot. Everyone on the team did a minimum of about 20 courses in our downtime. Everyone on the team is now a stylist. We did lots of learning about safety and lenses. So it was really a great time for learning. So you can see that as soon as we opened, our client interactions were just so much better because everyone on the team was a lot more knowledgeable. So I mean, I've seen a couple of questions in the chat about, you know, fogging lenses and different things like that. And we found out the answers to this in our downtime because we spent a lot of time learning. So going forward, we have so many things to implement. So for us, it was a great time on learning, is what I'd say.
It's like you invested into your business during this time. You were investing into your staff, and so when you got going again, you were able to have that return on your investment that you had time off. You know.
Exactly.
That's great.
And we also worked with a consultant actually during lockdown to improve our processes. So we have everything documented now, exactly how everything should run, and it's really helping us. Really, really helping us.
That's great. That's a great way of utilizing that time off. Some people were saying they wanted to come back better after the pandemic, and I think this is a great example of coming back stronger and better. We reopen. I had a good question from Melody in the chat. Melody asked, "Has any of your governments offered any assistance to small businesses during the pandemic?" Anyone want to share? Sarah,
Yeah,
you want to share?
here in the UK, businesses that pay retail rates, which is additional to the rent and is essentially a council tax, were given a small payment to help them cover the rates or the rent, the cost of having the property whilst they couldn't use it. And then additionally to that, you were given something called furlough, where some up to £2,500 per month, they were paid 80% at the government's expense. So you could continue to pay the staff up to 80% of their salaries, not exceeding the 25,000, right through until July, when it started to then be, you could then furlough them part-time and bring them back part-time. So we pay them full for this time they work, and the government pays them 80% for the days they don't work from their normal contract, which allows a little bit of time to get back to regular levels of business and just to be able to kind of keep people in work. Now, for us, we have got people furloughed part-time purely because there isn't space in the store to have 3 members of staff on the shop floor and an optometrist. So that we're busy enough to bring them back, but we can't have them in the store.
Very good. Yeah, that's a really good package, actually. It's nice that you're able to keep all of your staff.
Yeah, so obviously if somebody was on 40,000, then they would only get 80% of 25,000. They wouldn't get the extra, but someone who was on 25,000 would get the full 80% of the maximum.
Gotcha.
Sarah, whereas as a business owner, we got nothing personally. So yeah, it was very varied according to your employment status, whether you were employed, self-employed, or business owner.
I see.
So self-employed, there was a package, but it was a lump sum, and employed was good, and then as a business owner, it was nothing.
Interesting. I'd like to I'll save some more room I like this question. I'll save some more room for this so we have time at the end, Melody. But Sarah, while I have you here, you and Tarek, you're both on the wholesale and the retail end of this industry. Did you see a difference in how this affected each of these businesses?
Yeah, so retail obviously shut down completely with the exception of repairs and emergency purchases for the whole of the lockdown period. So for 8 to 9 weeks, there was a virtual shutdown across 95% of my accounts. And so what that meant is that the calls I was getting on the wholesale side were for one frame here and one frame there, and frames that they needed yesterday. Whereas in the store, they weren't really doing a huge amount unless it was a virtual styling, which Tarek and I were doing from home. And then obviously there was the online business, which we don't really categorize as retail. It's a whole different ball game itself. On the wholesale side, most stores cancelled or postponed their orders back in March. And then majority of them, the really good stores, came back in May when we heard we were going to reopen in June, and asked for their orders to be delivered or place bigger orders, and were proactive in making sure that their assortment was really, really good, and it has a really good reason to bring people back into store who've all sat at home, mostly being furloughed and having money coming in and not being able to spend any money on anything. Most people in the country are quite cash rich and quite ready to spend money on something decent at the moment. And everyone's also got a bit of a shift towards spending their money independently. So it's been a good time for the majority of my clients. The ones that seem to be having a tough time are ones that are in heavy business districts, where normally there's an influx of, 5, 10, 20,000 people coming in on the train from suburbia to come and work in an office for the day and go home. And normally they work long hours and don't spend their money where they live. They spend it in the city, particularly in London, in the city. So right now, those areas are, nobody's coming back to work there because everyone's been told to work from home. So the areas in the suburbs where they live are picking up all that business, but the ones who are in the city are unfortunately having a really hard time, majority of them.
Interesting. This was actually said yesterday, just in the group online. Are you seeing that as well, wherever you're from, that the suburbs are picking up the city business? Someone said it to me yesterday that New York City isn't going so-so, but more so the Westchester suburbs are picking up a lot of the New York City business. I see a few shaking their heads there as well. Interesting. Let's now, we're gonna head now, Nabil. Let's play Tetsuya's video. I asked Tetsuya the same question since he has a wholesale and a very robust retail business, and most of what he said about the difference.
So Tetsuya, some people, they know about your retail business, how successful that's been, and others may not know that you also are a huge wholesale distributor in Japan. You said you have 7 different brands that you distribute?
Mm-hmm, we do.
I know some of them are Alem and Anna Valentin and Lenore and a few others. So let's compare your wholesale versus your retail side of your business. How has it been on the wholesale side? Have people been purchasing eyewear? Have your reps been visiting the stores? How's that going?
Mm-hmm. We had like 80% decrease in April in retail section, but in the wholesale section, the drop in April like 50%. And that was because that most of the distributor, the brand in Japan, they were not able to hold an exhibition in March. So people were purchasing on the remote basis. So compared to the drop of the retail, we did pretty well in the wholesale, but still the decrease was of 50%. But after May, the sales in the wholesale section also had come back. And we were doing quite well after June. So it's showing a similar trend as a retail section.
And for visiting customers, are your reps going to the stores, or it's been coming to you, or they've been more cautious?
Most of the sales communication in wholesale section were done by remote, like Zoom. Our clients in Tokyo, they did want to see ourselves or see the actual models. So they came over to us with a small discussion about the sales. But most people outside of Tokyo, they prefer to do it through the remote because they're too scared to come over to Tokyo because of the epidemic in Tokyo.
Yeah, I can imagine. You know, Zoom has been great. You know, it's been nice to see eyewear. I'm looking at your eyewear now. it's so beautiful just seeing it through Zoom. But there's nothing like touching and feeling it, is there?
That's very important.
Absolutely. So hopefully soon we'll get back to that, where more people will feel comfortable seeing reps and meeting with distributors. Good.
Yeah. But actually, in October, we're holding exhibition.
Oh, nice.
In Tokyo and also a southern part of Japan. But that's going to be done in almost like outside. We have the ceiling, but no walls or no window. So we don't have to worry about the ventilation.
Okay. Okay. How many?
Yeah.
What was that, Tetsuya? I missed that.
So it's a new way of holding exhibition under completely different circumstance.
It's just that, you know, we have to just change our mindset and figure out how to do business.
Exactly. Yes.
So, you know, so since we're talking about shows, Tetsuya, and trade shows, I know you love trade shows. You're a big supporter of the trade shows. I've seen you in Milan. I've seen you in France. I've seen you in New York. But this year, other than Munich, we haven't had any large trade shows. Has that affected your buying at all?
It affected us greatly. Since our main merchandise, even our store, is the brands that we work as an agent. So those are the samples come over to us almost automatically. So our main merchandise in the retail section, in that case, we don't have much of a problem. But we have problems in more smaller brands that we see in middle Selmo.
Yeah.
Some brands are very difficult to contact.
I can imagine. Yeah. I can imagine. I mean, because you focus on a lot of smaller independent brands in your store as well. I can imagine how hard that's been not being able to connect with these people and everything.
Right.
Hopefully in 2021, we'll get it all figured out and we can all be back together.
Excellent. So let's stay on that topic. Tetsuya brought us into the topic of trade shows. I know for all of our panelists, I have at least seen all three of you in at least 2 or 3 countries at trade shows. Let's start with Visions Opticals. How has this affected your business and your buying, not being able to attend the large trade shows? Actually, the last time we saw each other, Amma and Toksy, we literally bumped into each other in London. And we were attending 100% optical, but we actually bumped into each other at Harrods that day. So how has this affected your buying, not being able to attend the large trade shows?
Okay, so Harrods, we love Harrods and we miss Harrods, but the fantastic thing was having the opportunity in January to go to 100% optical. And we were really grateful for that experience, because what happened for us is that all the buying we did in January obviously didn't arrive till March. And then we were in lockdown. So we got to see lots of new collections. We got to make selections, but we never actually received the pieces. So almost like Sarah was saying, you know, some of our orders, we were kind of like, we can't do this, because obviously lockdown happened, we can't take these pieces. But what happened for us was that eventually when things began to open up, we then started to receive some of the new stock that we had picked at 100% optical. So all the big brands, some of them aren't, you know, really focusing that much on new lines for the fall. So we know Silma is canceled, but the interesting thing is that there are new color refreshes, there are different things going on. And we've had a virtual, we've done some virtual buying. We've stocked new brands in this time as well. So what I would say is that even though we haven't seen sort of the quantity we see normally, I guess we've been able to focus on the few brands we want to work with, and we've stocked up on that. So, and one more thing I'd say is in lockdown, what 99% of people have done is spend a lot of time on Zoom and online. And what we see is people's faces and of course people's eyewear. So now more than ever, we've seen a surge of people wanting a bit more color, a bit more sort of bling, and a bit more, the trends are sort of changing for us. So we were really glad we got to see 100% optical, and we're really glad that some of the brands we worked with have taken time to show us different pieces on different Zoom calls. So for us, a lot of stuff has gone on Zoom, and it's been great, I guess. And we look forward to next year and all the shows then.
Excellent. Sarah, let's go over to you. I know this is how not having these shows affected your wholesale and retail business.
So for the retail side, just like Amma and Toksy said, what we've done is gone deeper with the collections that we already worked with. We haven't taken any new brands in on the retail side yet. We are about to, but it is one of my collections from the wholesale side, so it's easy to see. And yeah, just working deeper with the collections that we've got. And also in the retail side, what we found is that what's selling at the moment is the more interesting products and the more expensive products. The beige, you know, conservative and cheaper end of the market, it's just gone, which is not a bad thing, because if you've got to spend an hour with each person, block the store out for an hour for them, if that person comes in and spends £2,000, it's way better than someone who comes in and spends 500. So long may that continue. From the wholesale side, not having trade shows is an absolute nightmare. So it's absolutely fine doing Zooms with people who already do the collection and have the feel, like you said, for the product. But for someone who has only seen a collection in passing, to try and buy 100 pieces of a collection that they've never seen, they're terrified to try and do that on Zoom. Majority of them. I've had 2 new clients since lockdown began that have done by Zoom, and everyone else, I'm really sorry, I'm just going to have to wait until we can actually physically touch this. So yeah, I mean, Zoom's great for existing clients and for keeping in touch and for making things a little bit more regular. It's not great for new clients. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it.
Well, both of you said that people are really wanting more unique pieces. Shout out to Eric Domage, Christian Roth. They just said eyes take center stage in the time of COVID. People are very concerned about what's on their face and where they're putting on their eyes.
Yeah, I mean, I think majority of people probably spent the last couple of decades not really looking at themselves. You know, they check themselves a cursive look on the way out just to make sure they don't have shaving foam across their mouth or something. And now they're sat here looking at a screen, and it really counts. And nobody can compliment you on your handbag or your shoes when you're on Zoom. So what people would normally buy to go to the office is a nice new handbag and nice shoes every other month. And there's no point now. So eyewear, it has to be. It's the only thing, eyewear and lipstick.
I'm not wearing any lipstick, but I'm always talking about my eyewear. And I always say that your eyewear can be a conversation starter. Certain pieces are going to be that conversation starter for you. Let's head to Milan. Michele and Carlotta, Mito was canceled literally a few days right before Milan, the city, was shut down. How has it been not being able to attend these trade shows for you?
Actually, Mida, it's a good opportunity for finding new brands and meeting people. So we keep going on working with the brand we have in our team, and things are still going super good. But are 2 separate things, because when you go in exhibition, you mostly go for research. You want to see new brands, try to touch to see how they are, and meeting people, because you know that they're from everywhere, and it's a good opportunity. So when it's missing this thing, this is the main thing, and it's gathering together. So there are 2, like as I said, like working with brands are fine. It's everything. It didn't change so much for us. Of course, we didn't decide to put new brands because you have to see first in person. With the conversational with Zoom, it's not the same. You can't really try to figure it out how things will be, especially during these days. But exhibition are good for this. He can't give me the confirm because he told me before in Italian, so I can say that this is even his point of view. And so no big change. Yeah, so we're missing meeting people. And
yes. Dobbiamo comunque continuare a investire con i nostri brand che abbiamo nel nostro portafoglio.
Yeah, like he said that
ha più influenzato la chiusura al lockdown, la nostra.
Yeah, like our how can I say, like the difficulties are more with the closing shop rather than working with the brands we are working with still. Okay. So there are 2 different things. We miss going to exhibition because of the 2 things I said before, but there will be another opportunity in the future. So we are missing this. There was a 50 years old Mido this year was supposed to be, so it was shut down just a few weeks before. I think it will be postponed to next year. It will be even better.
Absolutely. We look forward to celebrating in Milan with our friends over at Mito. You brought out a really nice point, Carlotta. The optical fairs allow us to have a social aspect in this industry. It connects all of us. It's more than just looking at eyewear. It's being around people who are passionate about the same things and socializing. Now let's go to the social aspect, because I know at least two of you on here, you rock it when it comes to social. If you ever Milan during Mito or any time, no one does a trunk show in Italy quite like Le Lunetier Milano. I've been to your trunk shows where we've had DJs and crowds of people hanging out on the side of the street and drinks and trying on eyewear. So where do you see that going now with social distancing and precautions? Where do you see your trunk show environment going and your party environment going in the future?
Now it's pretty difficult to understand, to see when we can start back. Actually, when you have a trunk show, the first thing is to enjoy and not to be afraid of what is going around. Actually, if we are obliged to keep precaution, it means that things are not safe. So when you go to a party, to a trunk show, you want to enjoy, you want to party, you want to gather together with people. And if you have the fear and you are not okay, it's pointless having this kind of events. So of course we are hoping that things will get better soon, because we are very missing those times. And I'm sure that when things will be better, the trunk shows will be even better than the previous one, for sure, because what we waited for, But this is actually if you are afraid of partying, it's nonsense creating any. So we have to see when things will be better. As soon as we know, we will let you know.
Excellent. Eric Domage just said yes, all capitals. The first Le Lunetier party I went to was a Christian Roth trunk show. So I remember those times, Eric. We had a really nice time with Michele and Carlotta in Milan. Let's see how they do it in Nigeria. Because in Nigeria, they do some pretty cool trunk shows as well. I've seen Toksy and Ama, I've seen fashion shows, I've seen pop-up events, I've seen red carpets, I've seen backdrops. How is that going to change for you going forward? Well,
the history of our parties, I will tell you that our first one, we chose to have it in a hotel, and we had three guests. So it was really
wow.
A poor start. But we just kept going and we kept going. And now, we have events and people are like, I didn't get an invitation. And it's such a thing. What I would say is that we are definitely going to be having a virtual party before it's over. And I'll say my sister and I, we've done so many concerts online. We go to Versus like all the time.
Same here.
Some of the DJs who DJed in our store have had virtual events as well. So it's something we are definitely going to do.
We have one planned for November, actually, our first virtual party. So we're working with the brands on that. So we're really excited about that, our first one. And then obviously going forward next year, I think we'll have to plan smaller events until people are comfortable with going out again to party, but we'll have to be really smart about it. Usually for our events, we try to do it with specific brands. So would brand like Cupcakes would have like a big backdrop for photos. We would try and make it as detailed as possible and make it match the brand we're working with. We've done it with Chrome Hearts, Cotler & Gross, we've done it with Linda Farrow. So basically, we like to work with independents who really give us the support we need in terms of marketing, branding, and really throwing a great event. So it's kind of like teamwork. Everyone works together to produce a fantastic event.
And I also think another idea for people on this call, try it in your market. We have limited numbers in stores, but to show your collection, you can just have one model a catwalk, and then you can just video it in your store and have fun with it, because you know, no one has really ever had virtual events before, and until you try one, you don't know what it's going to be. So, I mean, we've had webinars during this time, but a virtual collection show is something that everyone should really be considering, because it makes people feel more connected at this time. So, yeah.
Excellent. Well, I hope I get an invitation to that virtual event, because I always wanted to go to excellent. I always wanted to attend a Visions Opticals party. Why have you here? Let's stay with you guys. For this last question. 2020 has been a very challenging year for this entire industry and world. What have you learned in 2020 that you personally or professionally plan on bringing into 2021?
Okay, so for us, we have a bag, which is a big, hairy, audacious goal. And one of the tenets in our bag is to be technology driven and to deliver unforgettable customer experiences. So what I've learned in this time is the importance of technology. I saw in the questions earlier that someone spoke about augmented reality. We were on, in an EYE2EYE series call, we spoke about augmented reality and virtual try-ons. And the truth is that is where the industry is going. So how can we position ourselves for that? So it's just sort of embracing technology, because sometimes it's just so far away from us, because we're like very tangible and this business is very sort of tactile, but it's just understanding how we can employ technological tools to stay ahead of the curve and stay ahead of trends. So my personal takeaway in all that I've learned is how to adopt technology. And I'm really focusing on that in the short term, I'd say.
And I'd like to add to that. Basically, what I've learned is that when people come together, you can achieve a lot. During lockdown, my sister and I attended so many webinars, so many talks, anything we could, we did. And we're able to learn, especially from this EYE2EYE series, a lot of things. Some other opticians remained open during the lockdown. So we learned from how they were able to deal with clients at that stage. And then through that, I came up with like a 20-page back to work document for our team to get all the processes running. Yes, because we learned from all these different places. So the optical industry is actually great. You can learn so much from someone else. And going forward, we're definitely going to make changes. And what we do weekly here is a SWOT analysis. So we look at our strengths, our weaknesses, look for opportunities in the market, and look at threats. You have to do it weekly because things are changing so fast, and you need to keep your clients happy. You need to get new clients, and you need to find ways to improve things. So it's a continuous thing. So we're a real learning organization, and we really strive to do our best and improve all the time.
Well said. Let's head to Milan. Michele, Carlotta, what have you learned this year that you plan on bringing forward?
I can say the same thing I just heard. And everything must be dealt with a smile. Don't get angry of the situation. Maybe the first weeks were a bit tough because it was something that was not our fault. But with time, we start like to understand that things will get better. And we have to deal with a smile, like not get angry, and like we know our strength. So of course we learned a lot, and we understood our weakness and our strength. So all these bad times can help you to improve. So on one end, this was a good point to start. And that is basically what I heard. I agree 100%. And just a smile on it. Listen, more than usual.
I've never seen Michele or Carlotta not smile. I've never seen you two not smile. So,
yeah, but maybe in February, March, you saw, if you saw it, like we were smiling for sure. Then times get things better.
Excellent, excellent. We look forward to seeing those smiles next year. Let's head over to UK. Sarah and Tarek, what have you learned that you plan on bringing into the future?
So I guess it's really interesting to hear Vision Opticals' viewpoint on the technology and augmented reality and that potentially being the future of the industry. I guess I would kind of go the opposite of that in a way. Right now, I think what I've noticed more than anything is how much we're craving interaction with each other face to face. Like the customers that are coming in the store are just like mega happy to be back in the store and have an interaction with us and let us help them with their eyewear and just be back to some sense of normality. So it's made, while I agree technology is the future, it's going to be harder for people to, or not necessarily harder, but an easier choice for people to stay in their homes while they're working and choose their eyewear, whether it's by virtual styling or some form of augmented reality. I think that while we keep away from what we are intrinsically built to do, which is to socialize, then the moment you get the opportunity to go into a store, and if you receive amazing service, like our sales are like our average order value has never been as high. And I think it's because people are coming into the store and they're just stoked to be there, and that we are normal, and that we're not treating them like they've got some virus and that they're deadly and that they're going to wipe us all out, and that actually that we care about them and love them and want to help style them, and they just love it. And so they're like, well, I'll buy a second pair or a third pair, or like we have, and like every optical store in the world right now is having people come in just to support us. Like they're buying glasses just to give us some money, which is kind of like amazing. So I think the future for retail is really tough, but the future for optical retail is really good. I think that more people I've noticed have entered the online marketplace in the last 6 months than in the previous 15 years, which means that there's more availability of the same products all over the world. So what's differentiating me from any of the guys on this platform listening right now is our store and my team and the way we do things, and not the product is becoming less of a differentiator, because anybody can buy pretty much any frame from anywhere in the world and use some form of technology to try it on virtually, or even a free returns package to return it to wherever they bought it from. So for me, the future is all about, as Vision Opticals also said, outstanding customer service, realizing the unique position we're in, which is kind of part healthcare, part fashion, part stylist, part counselor, part friend, and use that to the best of our abilities to give people something to enjoy doing when they have some free time. And at the moment, people have more time than they've probably ever had. So the opportunity to go shopping in a decent store is kind of like top of their list. So for me, I think, yeah, the future is all about face to face, and I think I'm excited because there's going to be a hell of a lot of stores closed down, and city centers or town centers or high streets or whatever you call them, wherever you live, are going to become more about experience-based retail, and we can do so much with that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about the future for opticians overall. Technology is going to play a part, definitely, but it's if we can expand on what we do service-wise, then yeah, we should win in the end.
Excellent. Tarek, Tetsuya actually said something very similar to what you said. Nabil, let's play Tetsuya's last clip because it's he's focused also, like all you were doing, on the customer service aspect.
I really miss. So yeah, I know for everybody, no matter where you are in this world, it's been a rough year for the industry, and some people have learned quite a bit about themselves personally, about their business. Is there anything that this pandemic has taught you that you want to carry forward for the rest of 2020 and going into 2021?
Well, what I have learned by this pandemic is the most important thing is that I don't have to change anything at all. In April, when we had a huge drop, like over 80%, I was almost considering that our customers or society was denying what we are doing. So I was thinking that yeah, I might have to be doing something completely different to solve the situation. But after May, when the pandemic was more in control, people gradually came back to our store. And especially after June or July, we made a huge amount of sales. So I have learned that the people were not denying, but people were just waiting for things to calm down, and also the pandemic to be in control. And people were just waiting to come back to our service again. And one other thing is that some people say that EC, the e-commerce, is one of the key in this pandemic condition, not to make a physical condition with the consumers. I don't agree with that, because quite many of our customers, when they purchase glasses through EC, they sometimes become disliking the eyeglasses because of the eyeglass slipping down on their face or even hurting them. So they need a proper technical service to really like the eyeglasses. And also quite many customers of ours, they make their selection by our recommendation or suggestions. So people do like to come over to our store and make their final selection, and also to receive the proper technical service. So that means that I have learned that we don't have to change anything, but we rather need to strengthen our suggestion or our technical service to satisfy customers. So that's what I have learned with this pandemic condition.
I like that, Tetsuya. I really like that, because you're saying that some people feel that e-commerce is the way to go, and some people, like you said, oh, maybe one day there'll be less of a need for an optician. You're saying with your service having there, your customers really benefit from just having that the technical service you provide. So I like that. So instead of changing, you're just strengthening what you're doing.
Excellent. So I want to thank all of our panelists today. This was a really good discussion. Very special to have all of you come in so late in the day and to share what's going on in your countries. It's really nice to see how we can compare and contrast the industry. There's so many differences, but even more similarities we're all going through, no matter where we're at right now. And for you guys to come and to share, it was very encouraging for all of us that are listening in as well. So thank you all panelists. Also, what we have here is you're going to see a poll pop up for you as the audience. If you can go ahead and fill that out, it helps us with future eye-to-eye topics as well. So go ahead and give us a chance to take a look at that. I want to thank our panelists. Thank everyone for being here. Thank Tetsuya. He couldn't be here, but it was so nice of him to pre-record his responses to share his gems as well. And I hope that this virtual talk turns into a live talk in 2021, where we all can be together, whether it be in Europe or Asia or Africa or the US. We can all be together as one industry being able to benefit. So thank you all for attending Coffee Talk. We are signing off as well. And thank you all for being here. All right,
Thank
awesome.
you. Bye.
It was good. So it's good to have you all with us. It's nice to have you. Thank you, Sarah, Tarek. Thank you, Carlotta, Michele. Thank you, Ama and Toksy. Really appreciate it. It was very nice. I'll tell you one thing, all this international talk is getting me hungry. I might need some internet. I might need some jollof rice or some pizza or Sarah, what do you guys eat in the UK?
What do we eat?
Fish and chips.
Yeah, fish and chips.
The best Indian food. The best
In
Indian
our
food.
house, we usually eat Indian or Arab food.
Yeah, I will tell you that.
Pasta.
Outside of India, I think the UK has the best Indian food.
100%.
Yeah. Agreed. So.
And you're making me crave Indian food now.
I'm gonna go get some. I have a doctor's appointment in an hour. I know I'm coming on my way back, stopping at the Indian food.
Next time you come over, I'll cook for you.
Oh, that'd be great. I really like those, Sarah. Those are the new Kubaram collection?
No, it's actually an old one. It's a K5.
That's beautiful.
Really nice. I love that frame. It's really nice.
Gorgeous frame. I actually someone reached out to me today from New York. They are opening up a new office, and they wanted the Kubaram rep. Is it Vasily? Does he do the US?
I don't know. Okay. But I can send you the contact details for the directors, and they can put you in touch with the right person.
Okay, I'll send it over. I texted Sergio on.
Yeah, Sergio will tell you who it is.
Yeah, I haven't heard back from him. It's also late, so no, really cool. Really cool. Well, everybody, thank you all so much for being available. So I'll have the recording done by tomorrow, and I'll send you all the link for the YouTube video and the recording.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Lovely to meet everyone.
Yes.
Nice to
See you
meet
guys
you.
in New
Thanks,
York.
everybody.
See you in New York next year.
Yes, definitely. Bye.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye, Carlotta. Bye, Michele.